Well, guys, here we go. We've played a game. We've played a game of football, right?
And we've won a trophy.
We've won a trophy. I was just as excited as when we won the league. I don't know. Did you see the trophy lift?
It's a physical trophy.
Yeah.
No one can deny
By
that.
the way, this competition has been in existence since 1970.
Has it?
And it is the second oldest Catalonian trophy. So there is a bit of prestige
Listen,
to
history
this
makers.
trophy.
Winning trophies in Spain now.
Listen,
We used to dream of days like this.
Because you know, like around the around the stadium, they obviously have like the trophies and the date of when it won. Obviously, the Premier League one's going to go up. Will they put this trophy there?
I hope so.
It's quite a big trophy.
It is, but you know what? You just saying that is the first time I've realised they're going to put last season's Premier League in the
thought about that
stadium.
straight away.
Yeah.
That's just giving me the biggest buzz.
2026. I'm slightly annoyed that there's going to be these Dortmund and Como games there before the Coventry game, because I was excited. I was like, oh yeah, the Coventry game, that'll be the first time we played at the Emirates as Premier League title winners. Like maybe they'll shove us the trophy. I don't know, but actually they might do that at the pre-season games. Do you think?
No.
They might do both, you know?
Just
Got
have
the
it out
option.
all the time.
Yeah.
I don't think they will for the Emirates Cup, surely.
not think?
I think they're going to we're going to make a song and dance with it.
Yeah.
Right? Have you seen the tube poster that went up, that Arsenal put up?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, where it says if you look close enough, you can still see Saka's fingerprints.
Oh,
on the
yeah,
Premier
yeah,
League
yeah,
trophy.
yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
It's lovely.
We
That's
are
going to
gonna
annoy a lot of
milk
people,
this.
isn't it?
Oh, yeah, get on that tube.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, listen, we've got a pre-season game to talk about. It was Girona 1, Arsenal 4. Sadly, the Arsenal website crashed for a load of fans who had paid to watch the game live. I mean, I'm always find it. I mean, listen, we need to get in as much money as possible. We're trying to sign Vinicius Junior, but charging for pre-season games, I don't love it.
I agree with you. Yeah, they put it on YouTube, didn't they, to deal with
Eventually,
it? Yeah,
yeah.
so like, maybe just do that.
Yeah.
Just do that in the first place.
And then sent out, like, if you were logging in on the app, they sent out about like 300 alerts that the game had started. So like everyone was watching it and was going, oh, the Arsenal game started to go, here, click here.
They crash it with their own alerts.
Yeah. So the first goal, Havertz, right? It's a beautiful ball from Max Dowman. What did you make of this one, Johnny?
Yeah, it was brilliant. I thought Max Dowman, who I suppose we're going to speak a lot about today, rightfully so, he started off a little bit, when I say rusty, he was trying a few things. And we want to get into Max Dowman properly later, but we'll go into it. But that flash of brilliance to get away from his player and then have the composure to slide Havertz in, and it was a very composed finish from Havertz. It was lovely to see. And it was almost, I feel like we'd forgotten a little bit about Max Dowman and how maybe this might be his season to really make a mark. And, with Saka and his injury problems and whatever else, it looked very promising because there was a lot of brilliant moments from him in this match.
He's so good. He's not 17 until December, and it's like we're going to talk later about like Ifa Ibrahim, who came on and had a really good game, but he's 18.
Yeah.
Right. Dowman is he's still 16.
It's a freak.
He looks ready.
He does. And my favourite part of watching his performance in this game is the slow motion version of the assist to Havertz, because the amount of touches he takes, they're all so deft. They're all really, really well considered, and they're all executed within a moment. And I think that is a real kind of characteristic of players who have that glide, and the glide is one of the greatest things in football. It's a really, really rare thing. And Dowman has it as a 16-year-old, and presumably that's only going to get more kind of deft. And I was just so impressed by his football brain, really. And that pass through was gorgeous as well. I know it takes a little deflection on the way, but when, not going to split hairs about that.
It reminded me a little bit of when Joe Cole was coming through, because England don't produce these sort of players. It's very special. And I feel like now, right, you say he's 17 in December. Are we looking, and I'm only saying this because Mosquera and Raya have both compared him, who've played with Yamal. Are we looking at potentially this being that season where he has the real breakout season? Because this happened. He's on the same path in terms of age, and I'm not saying he's Yamal before everyone comes at me.
Yeah.
But he's an opportunity now where we've not seen this level of talent at this age in this country for a very long time. Can he have that impact? And especially with, like I was saying, Saka maybe needing a bit more rest, and also thinking about going back to the Champions League final last year where PSG had all their best players had been rested. Dembele had played 10 or 11 league games.
Yeah.
We've got an opportunity with Nwaneri as well for them to get some real game time before Christmas and really sort of blood him in. And maybe he might have that next step up this season, like Yamal did 3 seasons ago.
Well, there was this thing that, when you saw the squad that was playing, I mean, I really was expecting to not know 2 or 3 of the starting lineup, but I was like, that's quite a good starting lineup, and there's so many players to come back. But that's because we accept that Dowman just starts a game now, and that's like quite normal, and plays really well.
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head there, Johnny. There's obviously, because England went so deep into the World Cup, played every available round of games, because let's not forget they were in a World Cup final, in the bronze final. Well done, everyone.
Yeah.
Madueke and Saka are going to be rested for longer than normal. There was Saka's among that group that they want to rest until after the international break, don't they? So actually, that really does open the door for Dowman, and I imagine that we will see him. I think they'll pick and choose the games for sure.
100%.
Coventry at home seems quite likely. Maybe whoever's behind him as a right back might play into that a little bit as well, because it's perhaps not reasonable to expect him to do his sort of fair share of diligent defensive work when he's only 16 and has the frame that he has. But I'm expecting to see him from the start of the season, and then from then on, it's all down to what he does, isn't it? If he shows himself as being a player who is going to make a difference in a game, then he has to be an option.
Yeah.
And obviously, we all look at a player that young and think, oh God, is it going to burn him out early? But I think if the opportunity is in front of you to have a player who's going to decide games and make a difference, if he can step up and show that he's got that in him, then I think we'll see him a lot.
Well, this is the thing. I think we mentioned it last season a couple of times, where we talk about our players having burnt out, the Rices and the Sakas and now Saliba and whatever else. Top players play every game. Yeah. There wasn't any doubts. I mean, Messi didn't come in. He was a little bit older when he came properly into the Barcelona first team. But you look at
not by
games,
much though.
Not by much. Ronaldo's, they don't miss games, really. I mean, I'm saying that after what I've just said about PSG and their players being rested and whatnot. And it obviously does help. But if you're good enough, you're old enough.
Yeah.
Just play and see where we get. And if he gets tired, we've got options. That's what we're trying to build, this super squad.
And I think, with the way the summer has gone, with there just being no break, because, we've not had a season before with the extra round of Champions League and then the extra big World Cup. So it's literally like, if you got to the final, you've only got 3 weeks. And they I think legally have to have 3 weeks off.
Yeah.
And so we've never had this before. So as much as I'm not worried if Dowman has to start 2 or 3 games in this first 2 months, I don't think that's anything to worry about burnout, whether he's not ready. I think he's more than capable of doing that.
Yeah. And I mean, he's played in the Premier League already, right? Yeah. So it would just be a kind of natural part of that progression for him. I mean, the World Cup is something that we've maybe not touched on much on the show since we came back after the summer break, but it could really hurt us. It really, really could. The amount of players we have in that team who played a lot of games, and you've also got Ben White and Julian Timber who are recovering from injury despite not even going. So that's that whole side.
I'd be worried about that even without a World Cup, with the amount of games that we'd played. Even before you add in, they all went straight to the World Cup. I mean, it does concern me. But actually, I know we've beaten a recently relegated Girona, and now I'm dreaming of the quadruple. But it does feel like actually there's more there than we realise. And even just seeing Ben White play and being fit. But I'm just going to move on to the other side with Tzolis, right? Because this first goal was really lovely, and it was beautiful the way Gyökeres took the defenders away. Now, obviously, he's our Trossard replacement. I think he's a bit better than Trossard. I know it's early days to say, and I've only seen the match against the recently relegated Girona, and I don't mean to go over the top.
It's the earliest possible day.
Yeah, it's the first day. I know it's the first minute, but I think I can say solidly he's better than Trossard.
Right.
Okay. Can I follow?
Tell me I'm wrong.
I'm not even going to tell you you're wrong. I'm going to go with you.
You love Tzolis.
I absolutely love him, and it was great. He was our best player, by the way, in that first half. He was, I think, without a shadow of a doubt. Constant threat. He's quicker than Trossard. So what we've got with Trossard was a very, very smart player, very clutch. Obviously, I can't fully co-sign you on better than Trossard yet because of the amount of clutch goals that he scored for us. But the potential is there. I mean, there is no doubt about it. He is so direct, but in a very techie way. He knows. He's not wasteful with the ball. And that's one thing, you watch Trossard, because we're going to do the comparison. I used to say last season, Trossard sort of has excuse my language, but a fuck it gene. I'm going to do this anyway. I know what I should do.
I don't care how tired I am.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm going to do this. I'm going to maybe backheel it. I'm going to not take that pass, not pace the second pass. I'm going to take the harder part. That's what Trossard, because he's good. He's a little bit less wasteful, and he's very, very direct, and he can shoot off both feet, and he delivers. Unlike what we see on the other side a lot of the times, and I'm not going to criticise Noni too much, but Noni can do a lot of good things and not have that perfect final action.
Okay.
I don't think we're going to get that with Tzolis. I think we're going to get someone who's quite efficient and persistent with it as well. But yeah, very, very promising start. I definitely think, the first half I was like, oh, yeah, he is good.
Yeah, I'm impressed by his pace, actually, and his decision-making at speed from what I've seen of him so far. Obviously, admittedly, a lot of that is highlights from his time at Club Brugge. He said some really interesting things in his first interview about how he compares himself to David Villa, who isn't necessarily a wide player, but was a central player that kind of, drifted about a lot and had a similar frame to him. And he was like, I'm not as good as David Villa. It's like, that's not the spirit, Christos. Get into it. But I think that's a really interesting comparison. And I'm excited to see kind of how he grasps this opportunity, because obviously if Vinicius Junior comes in, he's not going to play as much as you might expect. And I wonder if he actually might end up on the other flank as a solution there, because presumably Vinicius Junior would want to play a lot of minutes. But I am really sort of low-key excited by this signing. He looks like he's hit the ground running. He doesn't look out of place. He doesn't look like a player who's making a step up, does he?
No.
He doesn't look like a player who's come from a league outside the top 5 in Europe.
He looks robust as well. Yeah. He does look like a very durable player, which is what we need as well. So
early days though, isn't it? I mean,
days.
we've not seen him up against like a kind of dogged, difficult Premier League defence yet in the depths of winter. I suppose I am asking if he can do it on a cold, rainy night in Stoke in January or whatnot, but we don't know, do we? But yeah, I mean, so far he fits the exact profile we need. He looks technically gifted, quick, and I like how he's a bit like Gyökeres. You can tell that he's got the goal between his eyes.
Yes.
He is really just only thinking about that all the time. And he said that Mikel Arteta has said to him, I don't want you to change your game. I want you to be always looking to score, always looking to get into the box and provide if you can't score yourself. Like just be one-track minded about it.
Yeah, I mean, I what I quite liked is that I feel like we have suffered when Trossard or Martinelli plays on that left-hand side. Now, I know I'm judging it off one game against Girona, but it always felt like people would relax and go, well, we can just focus on Saka because, one defender can take care of Martinelli or one defender can take care of Trossard. Where I feel like just from watching that first game that you're going to need more than one to deal with him.
You're so right. And that's the problem, isn't it? Or not the problem, but that is, I suppose, the issue in the team that we can all, as kind of armchair managers, look at and go, if we could make our left side as kind of penetrating as our right side, then that is going to be a big problem for a lot of teams, and it's going to create that kind of issue for them in terms of how do you overload one of those attackers. If you've got that on both sides, this is probably overly simplistic thinking, but it feels like an area that they are looking to address. It just makes it so much harder to deal with and so much harder to predict.
Because also, last year we had 14 goals from Gyökeres, and then next down is 7 from Eze. So it's like, we need goals.
And 8 of those were against Spurs.
And by the way, and I would say as well, in that game, we did something later in the season with Trossard where he almost became like a second striker or very tucked in on the left, because we just abandoned that left-hand side. We've got Calafiori being a mad horse down that side and do what he's doing. But in terms of our winger...
Mad horse.
But in terms of our winger, we sort of abandoned actually trying to build down that side.
Yeah.
And Trossard became very tucked in. So it'd be good to stretch the pitch again.
Which obviously is going to be even better when we sign Vinny. Now, let me move on. So, Victor Gyökeres, Kai Havertz and Ethan Nwaneri all started. Mikel Arteta had high praise for Nwaneri. When you just stand in front of him, you sense the maturity and he looks like a different man. He does look a bit bigger. He does look like he's been eating some burgers over the summer.
Or some Popeye-style spinach.
Could be. Now, there's been some reports in Italy that AC Milan have made contact with Arsenal about buying Nwaneri. Arsenal reported looking for 35 million euros. That's,
not enough.
That's gone down.
Nowhere near enough. But I think that would be because it's coming from a Serie A team, right? So
they get a discount.
Well, I think that realistically they can't pay a huge fee, but I still agree that should be just not really that much of a consideration. I think the guide on this should be Cole Palmer. when he went to Chelsea from Man City. He played 3 seasons with Man City and barely featured in them, to be fair. He'd scored 6 goals across those 3 seasons. Ethan Nwaneri, at a younger age, scored 9 goals in that season he had for us. And then he had the situation with Marseille. The market's massively inflated since then. Palmer went for just over 40 million. I think that has to be the kind of the guide price plus a
base
bit
rate
because of inflation. I don't think an Italian team are likely to pay that, but I think that has to be all the same. Certainly what you're looking at from within the Premier League if you're going to consider selling him to a rival.
And I don't want to sell him under any circumstances, but just say to Milan no, because Bournemouth are going to pay 50 million. Like there's plenty of teams in the Premier League who have just received 100 million for a player, or like a Newcastle or whatever. With
the deal that we would, if we do sell him, which obviously I really don't, you'd have to look at, because we're going to have a sell-on clause in this deal, whatever happens. So we have to also think about which club is going to develop him, because it is almost effectively, either if we have a buyback or a sell-on, it's effectively a long-term loan.
And I suppose that is where you take the hit, isn't it, with those kind of
so
conditions.
if we're going to do it, it would be a Dortmund. If we're selling outside of the league and we're going to sell it on a cut price, you sell him to Dortmund because Dortmund have a history of developing players to a very good level and selling them on for a hell of a lot more. And I think he's that good. But I just don't see any purchase in 35 million to Milan whatsoever.
Yeah, I think it is, unfortunately, if we're going to be making the big moves that we hope we're going to be making, he just does feel like a player who might be someone we have to say goodbye to.
And we've got a lot of players in central midfield now. You know, if Bruno G we're saying is done, you know, then you're like Rice, Eze, Odegaard. If Dowman really is a central player, like I don't know, man. It feels like in sort of Havertz in this game played as a sort of advanced 8 anyway. Like, where's the space for Nwaneri?
Oh, this is it, isn't it?
I did feel like, you know, the comments from Arteta afterwards didn't sort of match Ethan's performance. I thought like he did have a few moments, and he's always going to have a few moments because he's a very talented player, but he did struggle to impose himself. And that was kind of a problem we had a little bit at times with Eze as well last season. And now it's about him he's going to have his opportunities in his pre-season, but he's got to take the game by the scruff of the neck.
I also think Nwaneri could be in a similar situation to Max Dowman, right? Where the season starts way before the window shuts. So he might play some games for Arsenal this season while other players are waiting to get back up to, you know, speed in terms of rest and fitness. So he might have an opportunity in the first team to show Arteta that, you know, he can make a contribution this season.
Well, talking of a player that I feel like surely is going to get sold this summer is Gabriel Jesus. Now, he came on and he scored a goal. It was a nice finish. He had another couple of chances where he came close, but there's still no sign of a sale for him. I mean, what are you making of this?
He was another one linked with AC Milan, wasn't he? I think the problem with Gabriel Jesus is he's on something like 265 grand a week. Yeah. So it's a complicated deal to do for whoever will be coming in for him, because they will be taking a bit of a risk. And
with injuries, you mean?
With injuries, yeah. And whether he actually, not just injuries, but like what his top level is. Like, can he get back to anything resembling what he was in the past? I mean, it's probably unlikely. You never know. What is a good environment in which a team can afford to take that risk? Will he take a pay cut? He'll probably have to. But you would think places like Saudi, if he was going to get a move somewhere like that, maybe that would have materialised by now.
I just don't know why we haven't done any business there at all. We were sitting there last week, we were talking about the lack of money we get from signings. Why are we not pursuing, you know, clubs in Saudi to take our dead wood?
Maybe Berta doesn't know that sort of plus 4 bit for Saudi Arabia. Maybe we got to like text him that.
The international code, yeah.
He doesn't know the international code, because we haven't sort of made use of that market. When you've seen the likes of Liverpool being able to get rid of Darwin Núñez and do it for 65 million, etc. So
Chelsea.
This is what Kia Jarabchian's for, isn't it? Talking to these people.
Maybe he's got the international area code. I don't know.
Who knows?
And they've got a lot of Brazilians in the Saudi league as well. And if I think he'll struggle. The only teams that can afford to pay him are Premier League teams, but then they'll worry about his injury record with the intensity of this league. There is no doubt that the Saudi league is far less intense. He is still a very, very good footballer. Playing at a less intense level, you get a lot out of him. I'm not trying to sell him.
I mean, the trouble
is him, but
I don't know if this is like rose-tinted spectacles, but I I love Gabriel Jesus.
I do as well.
When I see him finishing, and when I see him in an Arsenal shirt, when I see him smiling, ruffling Wynn's head, like I sort of yearn for like maybe there's still a role for him.
Yeah, even last season he scored goals in the San Siro. He came back from injury. He had a couple of moments. That goal against Villa was brilliant, wasn't it? I think we saw that he obviously wasn't fully back up to speed at times, but he's been out for a long time. So you wouldn't expect him to be in his first part of a season back. Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't want to give up on the dream of seeing the best Gabriel Jesus again, but it's just the wages, isn't it? It's like you're essentially taking quite a big, expensive gamble on him being able to contribute. I wonder if there is a situation where it's hard to move him on. We cannot really find a cost-effective replacement to come in and effectively play the third choice striker, and he just hangs around for a bit. But equally, I could see a deadline day move somewhere weird, some like Marseille, somewhere. I
feel like he's sort of fourth choice, because I would say like Havertz, Gyökeres, Merino, then Gabriel Jesus.
Maybe.
I just feel like maybe it's going to be one of those loan deals and they pay his wages.
One of those.
Because I can't see him in the Premier League. It's like we'll get onto Norgaard going to Everton, but it's like I don't see in the Premier League who's going to take a chance on a injury prone player on those wages.
Yeah. It's better than the situation we used to have where we'd sign a player, they would make us worse, and we would pay them to leave.
Yeah,
definitely moved on from then.
Yeah.
One thing that was quite important, and we do like to talk about, any minuscule micro situation that happens with Vinicius Junior. Vinny liked the Instagram post after the game that Gabriel Jesus put up. Now, for me, that says he's on his way.
He's practically on the carpet already.
That's like a medical, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to continue our reaction after the break and take a look at the back line. Now, the defence was slightly unusual, not one we've seen before, but it was quite nice to see Christian Mosquera starting at the back, centre-back, and Piero Hincapié also started together. Hincapié came off for about half an hour. He'd only had one training session. And then Marley Salmon came on. Now, look, we know that William Saliba is going to be out for an extended period, which none of us know what that means, but to recover from his injury, but it's without surgery. So I think we're talking November, December, really, before Saliba can start.
It's rubbing horse placenta on his back till he feels better.
I'm joining in and rubbing that in. But interesting, it looks like previous centre-back target Ousmane Diamonde is close to joining Nottingham Forest for 34.3 million. We've not heard as much about centre-backs we might bring in.
No.
But let's go back to the game. How did you feel, Johnny, about seeing Mosquera and Hincapié at centre-back?
I think Mosquera did very well. There's once I was speaking last week about relationships. Every single centre-back, when they play together, they got to learn to play with each other. And there was a few moments, a little bit hairy moments. There was. I thought, as well as anything, I was speaking last week about Marley Salmon. Marley Salmon came on and played for Hincapié at 38 minutes. And he played on the left-hand side. And I didn't realise how obviously he's composed and he plays line-breaking passes and he's this, brilliant, precocious 16-year-old. He was really, really good on the left-hand side. And I was thinking last week, we got all this sort of cover on the right side. What happens if Gabriel gets an injury? I know we got Hincapié. I know Calafiori now is almost definitely a left-back. Hincapié is a left-back. He looked really, really good as well. But yeah, I was impressed. I mean, we once again, playing in this Arsenal team, we play so high, and that was what blew me away watching the game, was the intensity for a first game of pre-season. We were pressing really high, which is hard to do if if you're coming off the back of a long break. But everyone looked really, really good, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
For me.
What about you, Jim? Because I feel like we seem to buy centre backs and make them fullbacks, and then we don't have any centre backs.
Yeah, I actually slightly disagree with that. In that I have real faith in both Hincapié and Calafiori as fullbacks, actually.
Yes.
And I do wonder if Ben White and Julian Timber will share some of the load of filling in for Saliba.
Yeah.
Because they're both very, very adept there. We've not really seen Ben White as a centre-back for a long time. I know Julian Timber plays as a centre-back for the Netherlands and kind of essentially always has. So I trust him there. But I quite like that variation, and I thought it was very interesting that the team changed up so much, and it seemed pretty coherent apart from a few moments. And these games are very hard to sort of take any true sort of lessons from when you're switching personnel up so much. I think it's just about getting a bit of match fitness and a bit of kind of semi-competitive action, isn't it? So, yeah, I don't think this is really indicative of anything we're likely to see from the defence in terms of the season. I certainly hope that Marley Salmon won't be coming on after half an hour or whatever it is against Coventry. So,
yeah, I mean, I think it's when we saw Mosquera come on. I think it was like Saliba got injured in a warm up against Liverpool right at the beginning of last season, and he had like such a brilliant game in that position.
Yeah.
And so, like, I would love to see him get a little bit more trust throughout this pre-season, and maybe there's a chance he can, be an understudy.
yeah, because he's been sort of perhaps mentally sidelined a little bit, hasn't he? Because there has been sort of rumblings that we're looking for either a centre back or a kind of right-sided defender, someone who can play as a centre-back and a right-back to a high level, which is a rare thing, right? That can't be an easy thing to identify. And I suppose you get into this dangerous field of thinking, such and such player isn't good enough, so someone has to be signed to come in above them. But it'd be kind of bad for Mosquera's development. If say, an Ezri Konsa were to come in, I would worry a little bit about Mosquera's place in the squad after that. But then at the same time, maybe you actually you sell him on for a profit later, and we have to accept that that's how most clubs operate now.
No, we don't.
We don't like saying goodbye to them, do we?
We just keep adding and adding and adding.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wonder because it has gone so quiet about signing a centre back. I mean, maybe all the focus is elsewhere.
Yeah.
But is there a world where we just don't sign a centre back?
I think it's Arteta. I think we're definitely signing.
We're
signing a defender. We're not doing a whole transfer window without signing a defender. But yeah, I think it would be a little bit harsh on Mosquera. He missed out, and I was quite surprised. I mean, Spain didn't take a lot of players, but I felt like he'd done enough to go with Spain to the World Cup, and he missed out on that. And
they're stacked though, aren't they?
They are. I mean, there was a lot of players that missed out on it, but I just feel like he did really well last season for us, and it was difficult. He was playing right back. He isn't a natural right back
against Kavica Kvaratskhelia.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, we're talking about. You can't ask for more of a baptism of fire, and I feel like he got through it pretty well, personally.
Apart from the one mistake.
Apart from the one catastrophic mistake, which was, even then.
But I don't blame him. I don't blame him. I love him dearly.
I do think, going back to what the conversation about signing somebody, we would be in a situation if we don't, where to cover right centre-back and right-back, we would have Mosquera, White and Timber, and that's it. Yeah. Unless you're kind of thinking of playing Marley Salmon as a right back, which is that would leave us very light. So surely they're going to sign someone.
Yeah, I think they will.
I genuinely am now at a point where I'm just confused of who covers centre back. Because I feel like when we bring these players in, there's it's our new centre back.
We've got like 7-8 shapeshifters.
Basically every defender, right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think if we no longer count Mars Lewis-Skelly as a left back, which I don't think we do. I think he's established as a midfielder now. I think every single defender we have can play as a centre back.
Don't forget, Graham Souness says Declan Rice is still a centre back as well, so you can't forget that.
He's arguing that he should come back sooner. Do you see that?
Oh, is he?
Oh, you're joking.
Sit down, Declan. Just sit down.
Did he actually? Has he actually done?
That's
what is
chat.
wrong with that man? Honestly,
there was talking of that, like Arteta said, he was like, Kai phoned me and said, like, I want to come back sooner, and they asked Kai Havertz about that. They're like, apparently you text, and he was like, yeah, no, I didn't text him. He said, I didn't text him.
Maniac.
I love it. It's like, and Arteta's like, shut up, we're mates, aren't we? And he's like, are we? But Havertz was like, look, I had a bit of time off, and I felt like I was ready to come back like 1 week earlier. So maybe Arteta wants more mates. Jurriën Timber. He left the camp in Spain for a check on his groin injury. Apparently this was pre-planned. He, of course, didn't play in the final 2 months of last season, bar being a sub in the Champions League final. There was lots of talk saying this was planned, but it is slightly concerning, no?
Well, no, to be fair, he's gone out there to train. It's a warm weather training camp, and there's a lot of these pre-season camps. There's obviously we're preparing tactically, but there's a lot of getting the gang back together and
being with your mates,
and the camaraderie that we have. So yeah, I get it. I'm not too concerned. I feel like I'd rather we sort these things out now than have planned surgery or planned trips back during the season. So yeah, I mean, get him right.
During the season. Jim, thoughts?
I'm slightly concerned that he's not very unlikely to be fit for the start of the season, which is like under 2 weeks away. But at the same time, I'm kind of really heartened that all the talk of Benny Blanco leaving is just gone.
Yeah.
That seems extremely unlikely now, and I'm really pleased about that. So that's one silver lining there.
And I thought he was done.
Same, yeah. But I mean, he looks in good shape. He's saying he looks fit. Ricardo Calafiori said that he's never seen him in such good shape in that very sexually confusing day in the life video that he did.
There's been a lot of sexually confusing things.
I'm not confused anymore. Now I've seen it.
Ben White
It's given me great clarity.
Was using the trophy as a prosthetic dick. So there was there was a lot of.
Yeah.
He is like genuinely all about the banter, Ben White.
Yeah.
I think you need to have that. I know on your show on Friday you were talking about when Finney comes in, whether there's enough, whether we would sort of be able to cope with having a star of that. We have so many leaders, like we've got so many former captains.
I know, we just signed captains.
And we're bringing in Bruno G. That's what I remember looking at the Liverpool team about 6-7 years ago, and I was thinking Milner, Van Dijk, Robertson, all these players. I was thinking we didn't have one
Leaders.
and we have
I've got
many
no leaders.
Yeah,
I've got no leaders.
They've got no leaders.
Yeah.
But we've got so many now. So yeah, there's almost like a fail-safe there anyway. So
There's room for a Maverick.
yeah, of course there is. And there's room for Ben White as well, walking around with, using the trophy as a
For a
penis.
cheeky little dickhead. Now, the final thing of the game, Girona had their own dog by the pitch. This feels a little bit like when Curtis Jones was like, Arsenal doing the fist pump, that's sort of our thing. Like, don't get your own dog, right? That's sort of, we did that.
No, dogs for all, surely.
Okay, you sure? It's like dogs at polling
He
stations, dogs at
looked
football.
like a very old dog. Looked like they've had him
Oh,
for a
really?
while.
You think his days are numbered?
Yeah.
Now, look, she's called Kanya. She's her own Instagram page. She's very cute. I didn't like the way the Arsenal players were so sort of, I'm going to say flirty. They were a bit we've got a dog at home.
Has Wing got his own Insta page?
I've not. We're starting one.
Question, yeah.
No, because I'm not being. We talk about we're trying to sign a superstar. We got one there, like in Win. Like we could be doing a lot more commercially.
Maybe Rock Nation
Win.
could sign up Win the Dog
that's
and improve her image rights.
Okay, can we add that into the Vinny deal at the very least?
Yeah.
Without a doubt, yeah. You can have Win as well if Vinny comes.
Win keeps 10% of the fake
Treats.
Win the Dogs of treats. I don't know. I just worry that if Win the Dog, Vinicius Junior is watching that.
Vinicius Junior.
That's the new name. If Vinicius Junior is watching, then I think she might get a little bit jealous of the way some of those Arsenal players were a little bit hands-on with Kanya. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much Win takes in because dogs can watch telly now, can't they?
Yeah.
It's
Can
one of
they?
the confusing things about modern TVs is that dogs can actually follow what's going on them. So it's very possible that Win could see this and get jealous.
See, I'm worried, and with a season where we're trying to win again,
Yeah.
you need to be thinking.
Can you set up this Instagram page to appease him, please?
Yeah, I will
Appease
do.
us,
And,
sorry.
and it is going to be Vinicius Junior. Coming up after this, we say goodbye to Christian Nørgaard. We hardly knew you. Now, lads, I know we're not good at saying goodbye, but we are going to have to say goodbye to Christian Nørgaard. Everton have reached an agreement in principle to sign Christian Nørgaard for $7 million. It's been agreed at all levels. You have to say that now about all transfers. And it will be confirmed any minute now. I think this is fine. I think it's quite good money for him. It seems a shame. He seems very well liked. I imagine he's a little bit disappointed with how it went.
Yeah,
What
I
do you
would.
think,
I
Jim?
mean, I think you could see that on the pitch at Selhurst Park, couldn't you? That kind of was actually slightly painful to see the look on his face of one that felt like, it felt to me like he was like, oh, I wish I'd been a bit more involved in this, but. Declan Rice mentioned him as one of the leaders in the group in the immediate post-match interview before the trophy lift, and he was clearly really, really well regarded there. And obviously came in from Brentford as Brentford's captain. It's part of the identification of bringing a player like him, and is obviously his leadership skills. I think it's a shame he didn't play a bit more, especially when we look at the kind of miles on Zubamendi's clock by the end of the season.
And Rice.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think obviously Arteta had his reasons for that, whatever they were. But to get £7 million for a player that was it cost £10 million and was on a 2-year deal, I think that's pretty good business.
Yeah,
really.
it is.
I think, actually fair enough. And if his place in the squad is taken by Bruno Guimaraes, or even, in a sense, Miles Lewis-Skelly, who's someone who'd like to play more, I think that does improve us.
completely. And and he goes to Everton. I think he'll
Great
suit.
move.
I think he'll suit playing under David Moyes.
Yep.
For him, he's come in. He's got to a Champions League final. He's played. I know he didn't. He started one game. I think he had about 20 appearances. But he lifted the trophy.
Yeah.
Did he get a medal?
You would have done, yeah. They choose, don't they?
So he got a medal for his banter behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I feel like that's. I mean, I'm sad for him, but offer that to me, I'll take it.
I do feel a little, because I remember last summer when we signed him. I remember, we do that content of the player arriving in the car and his son, and he was in tears.
Yeah.
And you forget sometimes it's a big deal signing for the Arsenal.
Yeah.
And he probably feels like it's a failed project or a failed stage of his career, even though he's won what he's won. He feels like maybe he could have been given more of a chance. But the fact of the matter is, it's also very hard playing for the Arsenal, especially under Arteta. There was an FA Cup game he played in, I think it was the Mansfield game, and you just saw that he didn't quite have the legs to play as high as we play.
Yeah.
So he didn't have that ability to kill transitions and I think Zubimendi even struggled with it when he got tired in the second half of the season. There is some serious demands playing in this team, and Arteta, when it was crunch time, he couldn't trust him. He didn't trust he had the legs for it.
There was a game against Chelsea as well that we were winning when they were down to 10 men.
Yeah.
And he brought Norgaard on to sort of shore it up. And actually, we were weathering a storm from an away team down to 10 men, which I think was probably the game where he lost a bit of trust.
Yeah.
Interesting you say about him being in tears, when he signed for the club. I've seen that with a lot of Tottenham players, but that's because they're gutted. That's where they are. I don't know if you've noticed that. Now, the latest on Bruno Guimaraes, is that Arsenal agreed an £80 million deal for him. He was expected to have a medical today and sign a 5-year contract, as reported by The Times. But reports now say he's flown out to Spain for Newcastle's training camp. What's going on?
Don't know. I like this transfer in particular has been a real kind of eye opener to me in terms of how much clubs probably do just want to keep as much under wraps as possible, because what he's had for breakfast is being reported and where he's going to be at certain time, and this stuff about a medical clearly isn't true because he's gone to Spain, and the talk is that he's gone out to Spain to have a conversation with a new manager and reiterate his position. I don't know how anybody knows that, but it's basically about not rocking the boat, right? Not doing what Alexander Isak did and being professional, and while he's still the captain of Newcastle and while he's still one of their players, reporting to pre-season training and doing his duty there. So who knows what the reality is, because everything you read seems to contradict itself in this particular transfer. Clearly something's going on, but I think we might be having these little micro updates for another couple of weeks yet. It's so tedious, isn't it?
Tedious is the word, Jim. Tedious.
I imagine he sort of goes out to Spain and has one of those cardboard boxes just to collect his bits and bobs that he's left on his desk.
This is purely ceremonial. I had to bring it with me.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though all my stuff's in Newcastle. But
yeah. Well, no, they take it with them to Spain. And he's got to pop all his stuff in there and maybe it's to say his goodbyes. Usually we get those sort of reports, don't we?
Yeah, exactly.
I just don't. Do you not think that we take so long to do transfers, and I don't notice this as much? Maybe it was because we're so tapped into what Arsenal are doing and we don't really care about what other clubs. I do care what other clubs are doing, but it takes so long to get these deals done, and I just feel like even now, have we made it? But we've made one bid and it was rejected swiftly. We don't know.
It depends who you listen to, doesn't it? We've made one, we've made three, we've made none.
But this goes back to June. I know there was a World Cup there. The World Cup's been done now 2.5 weeks, 3.5 weeks.
I think the World Cup is a big complicating factor though, because the players have an enforced period of rest, don't they? And I think he's been in Brazil in particular, so that complicates things as well. These are complicated deals. They're multi-million pound deals, and shifting the money around as well isn't a simple thing in terms of actually paying for this stuff. So I think the Zubimendi deal seemed to take forever as well, didn't it? And we have this a lot. I just think, paying a lot of money for a player and sorting out everything in the individual contracts, getting all the stuff together in terms of how they're going to move their lives around, all these things take a lot longer than we assume they do as fans.
The same thing happened with Monga. So the young Leicester player that we were almost guaranteed to be buying, Man City we didn't hear any reports about them even being interested in this player until the last minute, swoop in, bang, 10 million, there you go. He's going Man City.
But then that's sort of what we did with Eze last season. Everything we were told was that, he was going to Tottenham, he was a Tottenham player, and we picked up the phone and said, we'll do that, thanks.
And also, I mean, what do you guys think about the kind of difference between doing it like this or doing the Isak thing and kind of making things difficult. I mean, Leandro Trossard did that to get out of Brighton, and no one really sort of thinks about it, but I would always prefer a player to, well, sure, yeah, all right, yeah, fair. I would always prefer a player to just, behave respectfully.
Yeah,
appropriately.
you like bringing in. You don't want to bring in a toe rag, do you?
No,
like that, and that is toe rag behaviour. What Trossard and Isak did, it is when you got a connection with that fan base. If someone did it to us, we'd be up in arms.
Yeah, exactly. But like Samir Nasri style exits are really painful, aren't they? Because because it feels really pointed. And,
it was rude.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you mean, and I think it'd be different if it was like if the Premier League had already started. You'd be sort of like, oh, let's just get this done.
Yeah, this is where it gets
pre-season.
really frustrating, isn't it? When the season has started and these things are dragging on and they haven't been finalised.
And you remember like Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain playing against Liverpool before he was signed for it, and he had the worst game. He played at right back or left back, and we were like, what is? And I felt sorry for him. I was like, why have he been picked? Like, he's signing, la 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 la. So I feel like let's chill. Yeah. Pre-season, it'll come.
I think Nasri played against City as well, didn't he? In that same.
I'm pretty
season,
sure.
I think he did.
I might have been at that game. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I saw some old footage of Nasri the other day, and I was like, oh, he was a player.
That's what I was fuming.
He was a player.
I actually remember I was more angry about Nasri than I was about Van Persie and Fabregas, which is mental because you know how much I hate United, but I was so angry about Nasri. It felt like that was just a big loss, big L for the club, and he made it seem so as well.
Well, what's great is we're not like that anymore. We don't sell any players. We just keep them forever. Now, shall we talk Vinicius Junior?
Let's do it.
There's
have a little nibble.
There's not much of an update.
I'm wearing my Michael Jordan. I'm wearing all Michael Jordan because I'm a maniac, because I've been studying the importance of superstars and how it elevates clubs. And Michael Jordan did it for Chicago, so Vinny's about to do it for us.
Well, but I got quite a lot of flack for saying that he was bigger than the club. Now, I sort of said that without really thinking.
I sort of teed that up as well, so sorry.
And then everyone was going, we came there for you. But I don't think Vinicius Junior is bigger than Arsenal.
He's nowhere
than
near.
The club. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that what he brings is more than just a player.
Yeah.
After the Girona game, a journalist asked Mikel Arteta, so when's Vinny joining? And we're saying he smirked. I think he just sort of went, oh, this is all goodbye.
Yeah. There was two questions though. If we want to really look into this with a microscope, he got asked originally, where's Vinny Junior? He smiled at that. And then he was like, oh, there's all this chat about Vinny Junior and what about players coming in? And he answered that with a wry smile in his face.
It's not the Wenger.
No.
That's a wry smile.
No. It's my take on this is as well. After missing out on Morgan Rogers and Monga and other players in the past, the club must be thinking, even though it's great that we are interested and showing interest and showing the ambition to go after Vinicius Junior, if we are miles off it, which is some people think might be the case, you do more than I think you start calming down the fans a little bit because or just tempering expectation a little bit. And I don't think Arteta did that. And I've seen him do it in the past. I can't remember which transfers, but when something is ridiculous, he kind of does flat bat it back, and it gave me a little bit of hope, basically. But everything's given me a little bit of hope at the moment. He started doing. By the way, Vinny Junior used to use white hearts on his Instagram captions. He's now using red hearts, so that gave me hope as well. So
why are you laughing, Jim?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm so happy.
Yes. That's a very good point. Sorry, everyone who's listening. That Jim sort of dismissed that. That is a very good point. David Ornstein, right? I don't know if you've heard of him. He's the journalist the only journalist we trust. He dropped
he's my father, I think.
Is he?
Yeah.
Good. Send him my regards. He dropped a bomber on Saturday. He said Vinicius Junior's future is entering a crucial stage.
Is that a bomber? I would take issue with the production staff here. Bomber.
I think
a bomber has to be more significant than a micro update.
An ember.
An ember.
An ember.
Is it an ember?
Yeah.
An ember. I suppose an ember. It's a fire starter.
It's a firelighter on the shelf in a shop.
It's a minor bomber. Now, he says that talks with Real Madrid are taking place in the coming days, but Vinicius is attracted by the opportunity at Arsenal if there's no renewal. Jim, you were 67% before. Where are you now?
I went quite high, didn't I? Because I was giddy at the idea. But
Oh no,
so
you've gone lower down.
no, I haven't. I'm going to stick exactly where I am, and I'll
Okay.
tell you for why. Because clearly, and I think Arteta's little smirk is informed by this as well. Clearly, Arsenal are doing everything they can to make this appealing to Vinicius Junior. They're presenting themselves as a legitimate and a real option, and if he chooses to stay at the biggest club in history, where he's already a legend, and he wants to go and make more history there, I don't think anybody else will be able to stop him from making that decision. So I am confident that Arsenal are doing everything they can. It seems that it's being properly considered because we're still having the conversations. There aren't any updates that are really meaningful either way. So I'm going to stick with 67%.
What does concern me is there's been a lot of chat of people going, I just think it's good that Arsenal are showing their ambition. Even if they don't get him, they're showing their ambition. No. Like, I don't think that's like, yes, it's good you get to the Champions League final, but you got to win it.
I agree. Yeah.
So I worry that if he wants to stay at Real Madrid, I don't know. You've got to have a ticket to win it. But part of me is like, are we wasting a lot of time on our biggest transformative transfer of the summer if it doesn't happen?
Yeah.
Yeah. You do worry about a deadline day bid for Pedro Neto, don't you? Like, as the
Lamar.
Yeah. Oh God,
Well,
yeah.
In terms of
80 million.
I mean, the
Lamar.
contingency, I think, is Alvarez, and I feel like there is still work being done on that transfer behind the scenes. I don't know if it's definitely nowhere near as good a fit as Vinicius Junior is, without a doubt, but he is, and he's nowhere near as big a superstar either, but he is a star, and he is someone that will improve us, but in a completely different way. It would be hard to take now because we've spent so much time dreaming.
Yeah. I mean, look, as Arsenal fans, we're used to being rinsed. So just be another one, wouldn't it?
I suppose it's weird.
We'll have to wear it.
But it must be weird for because for Chelsea fans, like they are sort of used to this kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, same with like United fans, like down the years, where like or even getting Isak, Liverpool getting Isak. Like, I just feel like I know we got Rice, but this just feels like so out of I'm not used to this.
Yeah, players of this profile rarely come to the Premier League. They often grow into that profile in the league and then go elsewhere. But it's often the case that it's someone who's on a bit of a downward trend, or that they've had to be a make weight for another transfer, a bit like Mesut Ozil. It would be an absolutely seismic thing if he were to come to Arsenal or any team in the Premier League.
Well, Johnny, you sent this thing in the group when it was an interview with someone from Rock Nation, talking about, and you briefly mentioned it, about Michael Jordan, and talking about how they're sort of talking about how Europe are quite bad with these deals, and sort of they're a bit wary of them, where like America's a lot better. Can you sort of summarise that a bit for people who might not have seen that interview?
Yeah, I mean, I guess Michael Yormack, who is the president of Rock Nation Sports and represents Vinicius Junior, was saying that there is almost a traditional sort of view of players and contracts with clubs, and the club being the dominant factor in that rather than the player. And there isn't a preference to build superstars within that. The club always has to be the dominant sort of factor in the dynamic. And what he's trying to do, and you see this, I was saying this last week with Vinicius Junior, he's very aware of his own profile and his own brand personally, and he's trying to elevate that. And there's a sort of glass ceiling at Real Madrid, and especially how they want to do his contract extension, whereas we, clearly, with our American ownership, and if this deal does happen, it will be born out of American capital, it'll be rooted in American capitalism, because Josh Kroenke sees things in a similar way to how Rock Nation Sports sees things and how Vinicius Junior sees things, which is why it's taken so long for this deal to be done, the extension with Real Madrid. So Florentino Perez does not want to do that deal, which almost lessens Real Madrid's role in the whole structure, and gives Vinicius Junior more power than they give it most players other than Mbappe. We might be giving him that. So that is.
And the guy from Rock Nation was sort of arguing that the Chicago Bulls aren't the Chicago Bulls without Michael Jordan.
He means in a commercial sense, doesn't he?
Yeah. And they wouldn't have become that commercial brand without Michael Jordan. I just don't think this is the same. Like I hear what they're saying, but like football is not like that, and Real Madrid are a bigger brand.
Well, maybe not here, but I mean, the Premier League is the most global sports league in the world, right? And I think there's a common thing in America. in a business sense of Premier League teams and Premier League players as marketing opportunities being massively, massively undervalued.
Yeah.
So if you've got someone like Rock Nation who are built on maximising that and understand how to do it, actually I completely see how you might look at the combination of Vinicius Junior and Arsenal as one that could be a massive, massive opportunity for like marketing cash, basically.
Yeah.
Well, there's another thing as well, and this kind of goes into Infantino and FIFA and how they're sort of hyper aware of the game changing. The younger generation follow players as well as clubs.
I know.
And that is how American sport works. You know, LeBron's just moved to Philadelphia. He'll take all of his fans with him, a lot of his young fans with him, because they follow players. And there is this player power sort of world we're moving into in football where we want to be, as Arsenal, we want to be at the forefront of everything. Maybe this is an example of that.
I also think because so many of these, so many of the eyeballs that are on the Premier League and are on football in general aren't from the countries in which the teams play. You might have someone who legitimately supports Arsenal, Real Madrid and Bayern Munich in some other country somewhere. And with the culture that we grew up in, you would look down on supporting multiple teams or teams from multiple countries. That's not necessarily how modern football fans consume the sport, right? If you live in a place where you're, say you live in Malaysia and, your local team are never going to be a huge, huge team, that is probably where you get your fix and where you get the entertainment side of it from. So, I think Rock Nation and companies like it are just aware of the potential for growth in those areas, and that is just the kind of neoliberal capitalist way the wind is blowing, right?
Well, I'm going to be following Christian Nørgaard to Everton. So I'm now an Everton fan. Look, we've had a lot of responses to Friday's chat about whether Vinicius Junior's status would throw the balance of this Arsenal dressing room. Someone even accused us of having never watched Thierry Henry. Which I do remember watching Thierry Henry.
Yeah.
Now, this came from Chapman 1886. It was interesting. He said, I find the question of whether Vinny can fit in with the Arsenal dressing room a bit of an indictment on the players. I can fully understand the rationale, but that dressing room is probably the most tight-knit and cohesive group of players in the league, if not Europe. The standards they've set for hard work and total commitment has been incredible year after year. I don't think any player could disrupt what they've built. Rice, Saka and Saliba are among the best players in the world, and they would be ecstatic to see a world-class player like Vinicius Junior come to Colney. But they would integrate Vinny into their culture and structure, not the other way round. Now, we really, really like you commenting and sending us your thoughts. So do remember to, chuck your thoughts into the comments on YouTube and on Spotify, and you can email us at show@thingaboutarsenal.com. I think this is really interesting, and I look at it like with the Arsenal team of the early noughties, and or even the Arsenal teams before that, where with Tony Adams, where people would come in and it's like, oh no, we'll tell you how things are. And you had it with United, with Roy Keane, with the
Welcome to the Tuesday Club.
Yeah, exactly. So I think this is a really interesting point, and I would agree with it.
100%. I mean, I remember speaking to Ray Parlour at Christmas. Actually, we did a show with him, and he told us about how he was the biggest influence on that dressing room, because he was, as soon as someone came in, and it could be Dennis Bergkamp, it could be Christopher Ray, we were talking about him last week.
Yeah.
The structure was in place. The team's already won. There is no doubt he will assimilate. But yeah, I don't think there'll be any of that. The structure is in place. I think the players will be absolutely buzzing.
Yeah.
That Vinny Junior's coming. We have Brazilian players in the squad as well already. We're about to sign Bruno Guimaraes. Martinelli's there. Gabriel's there. It makes a lot of sense.
Before we go, we've had our third and final kit, although there will be
many
hundred
training
more
kits
that will be released throughout the season. But the third kit came out today. I don't know if you've seen the video, Johnny?
Yeah, really good video again.
It's a lovely video. It's sort of an artist has drawn a sort of cartoon thing. What's the tagline for it? Have you got it there?
It's Arsenal state of mind, isn't it?
That's it, yeah. Because I went to the club shop today. I saw it
Yeah.
in person. I can't not go by the club shop. And I went in and I was chatting to the lady. They know me there now.
Yeah.
I was chatting.
You live so far away from the club shop as well.
And it really isn't en route to anything. But I did, unless I was coming to your flat. I felt like knocking for you and see if you wanted to go out and play. But I went to the club shop and I was chatting to the girl who was working behind the desk, and I was like, she was like saying, "Oh, would you like the new third kit?" And I was sort of like, "Well, I feel like I've got that kit from 4 years ago.
Yeah,
you've rebadged it, you fool." But I don't like. That's my concern. Like, it's lovely, but I feel like I've got it. Seen it.
Yeah.
Completed it, mate.
It's the kit that Aaron Ramsdale sometimes wore as a goalkeeper's kit, isn't it? Oddly, for that season.
I bet he still wears it now and again at home.
Yeah.
I feel like
it's around the house.
Aaron Ramsdale is still living that dream.
I hope players do that. I think the long sleeve looks great, and I think the detailing on it, from what I've seen up close, looks cool. I think it's nicer than the other kit that it looks like.
Yeah.
I like the lightning strike on it, and I like the thicker Adidas stripes as well. I like the video. It's got Rowan's in it, the bowling alley,
that's
Hope
nice.
Rooms on Holloway Road, and Just Jerk, which is on the corner.
Big up Just Jerk.
Yeah, so that's some.
They do that well, don't
local
they?
stuff that they're doing really, really.
Was it interesting in the club shop today? They had an artist that you could buy the shirt, sit down, and he would draw you.
Oh wow!
But I had to get here, otherwise I would have
You would have
self-indulgently
done that.
bought it and got a picture of myself drawn. But I didn't do that. Yeah, really nice. I think Nonny looked the best in it.
Yeah, Nonny
Yeah,
did.
Nonny's
in the long
cool.
sleeve, he's cool. Man. He's a good actor as well, Nonny.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, look, there's the third kit. I know I'll buy it eventually. But if anyone who is watching or listening who wants to send me football kits for free, please do.
And me.
Thank you for listening to this episode of The Thing About Arsenal. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it or any other episodes during this exciting summer. You can email us, show@thingaboutarsenal.com, or message us on our socials @thingaboutarsenal on Instagram and @aboutarsenalpod on X. See you very soon. See you later, lads.
See you later.
Bye.